Hey everybody, recently I made a video saying, would electric motorcycles change motorcycle laws, as in the licenses? Well, watch that video for the full detail. And in another video I talked about how I predicted that maybe in the same one, I predicted that I think that they're going to regulate electric push bikes and things like that, as in bringing a new license class even lower than a CVT, as it were. Well, the other day, as you may have seen in the news headlines, registration plates were put for cyclists, suggesting that they need to get insurance tax, registration plates, etc. to ride their bikes. Someone asked me to make a video on this, and I said, well, there's no new info. What can I say? That's pretty much it. But then I thought, actually, there is no new info, but there is old info. And that's important because this is not the first time they've suggested this, to my understanding. The whole idea of getting everyone in the country to retrofit a number plate to their bike of all ages, from little kiddies' bikes up to full-size ones, is preposterous. They're not going to do that. And they have suggested it previously, as I say, and for the same reasons they didn't do it then, they won't do it now. I can understand why some people really want cyclists to have number plates and tax and insurance. The tax is not for the use of the road. Tax is based on emissions, which is why they wouldn't really... I don't know how they're going to tax them. That doesn't make any sense. The insurance makes perfect sense because a cyclist can cycle into your car and cause thousands of pounds worth of damage, and you have no recourse. There is nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can go to a civil case, but then you're going to have to catch them and yada yada. But it's not a great situation. There are also cyclists who endanger other people by cycling through red lights on pavements and stuff like that. And you may say, well, it's just someone on a push bike. Someone on a push bike killed someone a little while ago by cycling straight into them. So don't think, I know it's unusual, but don't think that a push bike cannot be as dangerous as something else crashing into someone that has mass and speed. I mean, obviously, if it's a full-grown bloke, he's probably going to get a few cuts and grazes. But, even a full-grown bloke takes the fall wrong, hit your head on the floor. That's why a lot of people have said they would actually like cyclists to have registration plates, and I could understand that, but as I say, to retrofit them and choose who doesn't just on push bikes makes no sense. What I think is going to happen, honestly, is they are going to make a light personal transport, or a light low-powered personal transport license, basically like a lower CVT. The CVT itself was brought in to help people get into work by having a small, not very powerful machine. They didn't have to pass all the full licenses and do all of that stuff. They could just get on the bike and go. And it was to aid people getting into work. Well, for that same reason, bicycles are the cheapest form of transport, other than walking, to get you into work. So I don't see them regulating and charging people who don't have a job money and causing problems for them to then have to go and work. I do feel like maybe there might be zoning in places like London where to ride a push bike you do have to have a registration plate or be registered of some sort. I don't know, I just feel like that's a possibility because London like to make up their own, set of rules. They've also talked about legalising electric scooters, and so my prediction is just simply, as I say, with this light personal travel licence, it will be electric push bikes under 250 watts, pedal assisted, or maybe they'll get rid of the pedal assisted thing and allow people to actually have a throttle control, because obviously the scooters are throttle controlled. You see, this is one of the big problems for electric bikes. They have to be pedal assisted. You're not allowed to have a working throttle like on a machine like this, because then it classes as a motorcycle basically, which is silly. And obviously there's like sit-on scooter type things. And push bikes which have just got throttle controls on. There's millions of different electric vehicles out there, different methods of moving, but they're basically the same thing. And if you're going to make an e-scooter with its throttle legal, then the push bikes with a throttle will become legal and pedal assist will no longer become a thing. Maybe electric bikes pedal assist is unregulated, but if you want to not pedal, then it becomes regulated, and then maybe you do have to register them. And they're not type approved either. That's the other problem. Like when a vehicle gets through, you have, for instance, 50cc classes is L1, 125 classes are L3s, I think. I don't see them allowing people to retrofit stuff onto their old stuff. I mean, maybe if it's an approved model or something, but then the admin that's involved in doing all this and the setup is going to cost the government millions, and they're not really doing great anything ever, so probably not. Or maybe they will, and it'll be a shambles. I don't know. I mean, they do quite often pass laws that make absolutely no sense. You're like, Okay, well, you've done that, but how are you going to possibly uphold that? You don't have anyone to do it. So it becomes a pointless rule. The other thing you have to think about is, okay, so then they say, well, we've got to have this mini CBT for people on electric non-pedal assist road bikes, hypothetically, and then you need someone to test them. So you need training schools, or at least people to be trained. Now, even if motorcycle schools took this on, like, oh, we can teach that as well, you're still going to have to send people off for training. There's still going to have to be a whole entire legislation written up for it and all sorts of stuff. It just seems unlikely that any of this will ever really happen in the sense of registering them. But maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? If you have any insights on this, any thoughts or opinions, leave those in the comments. As I say, at the moment it's just all hypothetical. They've made the suggestion, but they've made it before. But I do feel like there are valid reasons that they're going to want to, bring in some regulation for these things. I mean, not to mention the fact that the amount of people that I've seen buzzing around at 30, 40 miles an hour in shorts and t-shirt, no helmet, on one of these electric bikes, and I'm just like, I don't think you appreciate what 40 miles an hour and stopping quickly does to you. I did it with full gear on and was messed up for a long time and still have damage, and I was wearing a motorcycle helmet, and I got concussion so badly I have an increased chance of epilepsy. So if you do that with no gear on, you are brown bread, sir. Brown bread. Anyway, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to help support this channel, please consider doing that through Patreon. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.